did you feel whenever you were first informed that you'd be inducted into the SHS Hall of Fame?
Probably the first emotion was overwhelm, a sense of gratitude. Just thinking about, I think, all of the greats that came before me, walking through the round building. I don't even know if that's still there, and seeing, Allison Smith and Tracy Inman's jerseys up in the hallway, and looking up to likes of Rachel Inman and so many others. It was just a sense of gratitude, basically, whenever I found out that I was inducted.
What was your most memorable moment competing in sports here at SHS?
So I have two, actually. One of them is in 1995, Madisonville was still a school. It was before they transitioned over to Sequoia High School now. And so we were one of the last teams to beat them when they were the Madisonville Tornadoes. So I just remember us being the last class to do that. We actually had shirts made that said, Monroe County champs, and then RIP with tombstones on the back, and then the scores. So that was pretty cool because Madisonville was our biggest rival at the time. So being able to do that and say, hey, we were the last class team to beat them, that was pretty cool, pretty memorable. And then, of course, competing in the state pentathlon as a senior. It doesn't get any bigger than that, competing with the best of the best. With absolutely no training in that event, but it turned out well, and so glad that I had the opportunity to do that.
What was the most embarrassing moment you had here?
Okay, so sport-wise, or as just a student?
Anything. I mean, you could do two or whatever.
Okay. Sport-wise, I actually almost missed the bus going to a game. And I think it was Tellico, and I lived a couple of blocks from here off of Rice Street, so it's not far. I don't know, some reason I thought we didn't have a JV game, but we did, and the bus was at the bottom of my hill waiting for me. One of my teammates came up, knocked on the door, hey, where are you when you're about to leave? And just the feeling of embarrassment when I walked on that bus, because I held everybody up. Thank goodness we won that game. I do remember, and I played well, because maybe I was just scared to death, because I actually almost caused everybody to be late because I was late. But they came and picked me up at the bottom of the hill, 907 Rice Street. So that was very embarrassing. Student-wise, probably the day I went into the cafeteria and still had some hair rollers in my hair. I remember that, but that's about it.
Who was your favorite teacher here?
Hands down, Judy Shope. She was a French teacher, and I went to school with her, actually graduated with her daughter, Kendrick. But she was just such a great person, and she cared about you outside of your sports that you were playing. And it was just always fun going into that classroom. And even to this day, we still text and stuff back and forth, especially about UT football. And my French name was Dominique, so I still remember what it was.
Did you have any nicknames here?
I did. The most popular one was Sis, short for sister. Just basketball and track, everybody called me Sis. Hey Sis, this, that, and the other. Actually, one of my teammates, younger teammates, Lacey Mashburn at the time, had a rap, and it was Sis, Sis, never can miss. And I just remember that. So everybody called me Sis. Eric Weaver actually gave me the nickname Speedy. Because of track, of course. Whoop was another nickname. You are too young, but there was a song back in the early 90s, Whoop, there it is. So that's where they came from. And then, actually, Deshane August gave me, who played football here, he gave me the nickname Swift, which was because of my speed, too. So those were some of my nicknames going through high school.
Okay. Who were the most influential people you had while you were here, and who really influenced you to start playing basketball?
The most influential people in my life, of course, are my mother and my grandmother. Just watching how they, make a lot of sacrifices for me to do a lot of things that I do nowadays. Just seeing their work ethic and just seeing them overcome so many things and just wanting to make them proud. In regards to basketball, my most influential person would be my uncle, Barry McCown, who was a dual sport athlete here back in the late 80s. And just watching him, trying to idolize him, trying to emulate all the things that he did while being a dual sport athlete here. And that is actually the reason that I have always worn number 22. He was number 22, and with the exception of my freshman year, I wore 22 here at Hiwassee and at Troy, so throughout my years. So that number is really special for me.
Were there any teammates that you really looked up to, or any that like took you under their wing?
Yeah, and which is very important. Angela Anderson comes right off the top of my head. Angela was maybe a senior when I was a freshman or sophomore, and we would have these 2-on-2 pickup games, and she always picked me. And I thought, man, I got this upperclassman picking me, and we never lost those 2-on-2 matchups. And I know that whenever I would get in there, I was like, I'm going to do my best because I want Angela to continue to pick me to be on her team. And we did that. And to this day, even when I see her, I talk to her about, hey, I appreciate you picking me to be on your team, even as a freshman, sophomore. But that right there, just that little gesture, gave me so much confidence to be able to, play at this level and everything. Nikki Kyle is another one. Just simple things. And that's what I tell people nowadays, especially if you're upperclassmen, to kind of, bring somebody up because they're scared, they're terrified, and you get your little clicks. But any little small gesture will go a long way. So with Nikki, we were playing over at the district tournament in Hiwassee, and for some reason we didn't take a bus, and I didn't have a ride. And so Nikki offered to give me a ride over there. First of all, Nikki had like the coolest sports car at the time in high school, and here I was, freshman, sophomore, getting to ride with Nikki over to the district tournament. And I mean, I don't even know if I played a minute, but all I know is I rode to the game with Nikki, and that's all that mattered. So, but they were great basketball players, very competitive. I watched them, observed them, watched their work ethic, and so those are two right at the top. I'm sure I'm leaving some out, but that come to mind as far as being influential.
So being an underclassman and those upperclassmen really those little things, they really stuck out to you?
Absolutely. Even to this day, 30 years later, I still remember those things. So that's why I try to tell, when you're on team sports, especially if you're an upperclassman, just even taking somebody to lunch or saying hey to them, like, oh, you did a great job today. You telling that player that they did a great job goes so much farther than the coach telling that player that they did a great job. So do those things, that they go a long way for sure.
Is there any practice or game where you had an unforgettable experience that you want to share?
I had a lot of them. Senior year, mostly. Coach Clendenin, who's here tonight, I just saw him for the first time in so many years, and I was like, please don't run me. I'm just terrified of him. But we had a one-on-one dive drill, and so he would have the ball and 2 players on each side, and he would be at the baseline and roll that ball, and somebody had to get it before it got to the free throw line. And we came out with burns and blood on the floor and all this stuff. I don't think it's illegal nowadays, but I'm telling you, we fought for it. And it made us tough. And, we weren't going to wear knee pads, we told them, but we started wearing knee pads just because of that drill. And along those same lines, Coach Clendenin, we went to a camp at McMinn County High School, and I don't even know who we were playing, but we were not playing well. And you know how at halftime, you just get lit up or whatever. And he didn't say a word. We went straight out those doors, and there was a hill, and we ran the whole halftime. I don't even know what happened after that. I think I blacked out, but those 2 incidents really are unforgettable, But I respect that man to this day. So.
Do you have any regrets or anything you would do differently from your time here?
Probably the one thing that I can't get back is I did not compete in the state track meet for individual. I have all these records and this, that, and the other, but I did not. I qualified and could have competed, but elected not to because I went on my senior trip, and it conflicted with the state track dates. Had a great time on my senior trip, but if I could go back, I would have definitely competed in those events, especially seeing what the times and everything were. I most definitely could have placed. So that's probably my one biggest regret.
Is there any advice you would give to the students or athletes here at Sweetwater High School today?
I would tell them to not be afraid, try something different, kind of get outside of your comfort zone. Make new friends. It's easy to get in your own little cliques and everything. Sweetwater's a special place. got a lot of special people that came out of it. Use all your resources. The teachers and coaches are here to help you. And you'd be surprised at the advice that you're getting now, how 30, 40 years from now you'll still use that. But don't be afraid. Try new things, and unlike me, don't have any regrets.
So you said 30, 40 years down the line, the advice would really stick with you. Do you have anything in specific that you were told that has stuck with you from that time?
I could do anything that I put my mind to, you know. And it sounds like a cliche, but I'm telling you, I have that advice and it's stuck with me, and I've accomplished many, and not more goals just because of that. Just that being instilled in my head, and somebody else, you know, believing in me.
All right, that's all we have.